Happy today. I am William Brown from IamWilliamBrown.com. Welcome to Disconnect to Connect One Word Conversations. Now, this is a part of the broadcast or the show where I talk to you about our sponsor. Our sponsor is IamWilliamBrown.com, a place where you can have conversations with me and find items that help you to be yourself and to live your life. Now, there's a product that I spotlight on the show, which is the U cards, and that's also a U game to set the intention for this conversation. So, the intentions for this conversation is I am brave, I am brave, you are lovable, and the quote card for this conversation is there is no one newer than you. So that's from Dr. Seuss. So, with that in mind, I am going to introduce our word. Our word for today is wellness. And, wellness shows up a lot of different ways for me, but I am excited to see where this goes and how wellness shows up within this conversation. So, as I do, I'm inviting my friend, my guests, to come in so we can have a conversation. Good morning.
Morning, Will.
So, this is the moment where I invite my guests to introduce themselves however it feels comfortable to them.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bobbie Shrivastav. I'm co-founder and chief product officer of Ben Akiva. Been in IT industry for over 15 years. Started off in corporate, and I'm now an entrepreneur. Have my own startup. Have three startups, and one of the startups that I'm currently focused on is Ben Akiva, which is a life insurance claims technology platform allowing carriers to go completely digital with their claims process from claim intake all the way to payout. And William, thank you so much for inviting me to this show.
Oh no, it's great. So, how does the word wellness show up for you?
Wellness for me is super important, and especially like when we're in the pandemic scenario where we are um, we have to be very creative when it comes to wellness. I think when everything started, I was, had a pretty good routine, incorporating wellness. Once you have a routine, you're just kind of embedding wellness into your life. And when something like COVID happens, it kind of makes you take a pause and figure
Right.
out, okay, how do you change your routine, or how can you manage that routine, and how do you embed wellness and maybe even reimagine wellness. So it's been it's been a challenge, but it's
Right.
been a challenge where there's been a lot of growth in terms of how I've been able to incorporate wellness into my day-to-day routine. But it's just been a lot of learning, a lot of trying, a lot of experimenting.
Right. No, I totally get that. I was actually kind of surprised because how wellness shows up for me is, it's like the whole mind, body, spirit type of thing. How well, am I? And when the pandemic first started, I was very surprised on how some of my wellness practices just kind of like fell off, and I had to like, okay, I have to like think about it. It was more, one practice that I have is meditation, and so I my commitment to myself is to meditate at least 15 minutes, a day, and just to start my day and to go, and I found myself kind of being concerned with the news of the day or something that was going off, and then I had to like, oh crap, I have to meditate. I have to, I kind of do that. Oh, I have to, and it's like you were saying, you have to be more intentional. You have to think about it. You have to reimagine what does that mean? How am I taking care of myself? And it was like one of those things that I thought that I had a handle on until something happens, and then you realize you don't. Right?
Exactly. A great example is when the schools were closed. So my daughter Savannah, she's 4 and she's going to a preschool and close to where we live. And my routine, for me, wellness is a lot about fitness as
Right,
well. Like that's,
right,
it starts with fitness. Um, and I used to like take her to school. I had a routine, take her to school, go work out, and then start my day. With
right,
meetings, I would have meetings starting like as soon as I work out, just give myself 30 minutes and then meetings would start. But when the schools are shut down, you
right,
don't, and the gyms are shut down, and then it's having that mental discipline to say, hey, how am I going to work out, right? So you have to
right,
create that discipline approach and be like, once again, reimagine the routine. So what does routine look like? How do you incorporate wellness? So it took a while to create that, right? So instead of like
right,
doing my first thing in the morning routine, it became like, okay, at the end of the day,
right.
or days, some days I can do my morning, like I can do my fitness routine while my daughter is asleep, because if she wakes up, then that fitness
It's all
routine's
off,
out
right?
the window.
Right,
She's
right.
5, so there's
Right,
nothing to that. But it's been, yeah, it's been a lot of growth, right? In terms of how do
right.
you incorporate.
I think the intentionality and I love how you use, um, that fitness is a big part of that. And sometimes for me, when I was first introduced to the word wellness, it was, when I worked at an organization and they had a wellness program and it was about movement, right? It was like,
Yep.
it's like, how are you moving? Get out of your chair, get out of the cubicle, get, kind of walk, and all that other kind of stuff. And I had no listening for or no concern with how my mind was, right? What was my mindset was, how well I was in my mind, or how I was, spiritually well, and it's like really the more that I embrace this wholeness or the whole body of wellness, I can almost find ways to do, one activity that covers all of them. Like, I've tried yoga for a while, and it's like, after a while, it's like, I don't know. I just thought it would be a lot easier than what it is, right? For me, and it's just like, all right, this hurts, right? I'm more concerned, right? It's like, what am I doing right now? My body wasn't made to do that. But there is that mindfulness that's a part of that. There's, spirituality that can be a part of that, and and moving your body, that has been kind of helped me kind of do it. I don't do it often, but the more that I find ways to kind of at least ask myself questions, how well am I? Or what's really going on? What do I need to do? And, do I need to get up from this chair and to take a walk? And I think that's the one thing that I really got being an entrepreneur, that, we get in this mode of just doing stuff, right? And until our body starts saying we need to move right now, then something else needs to happen. Do you find that too, as in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yes. So taking the time away, like I can be such a go, go, go. And my Myers-Briggs is ENTJ, which is
Oh boy,
it's just
okay.
go, 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 go. So I found that even a great example is last week, I was done by 7 o'clock at night. My last
Right,
call was 7 o'clock at night. And I was like, okay, I need to work out, but I'm so done. So
right.
my movement was, okay, go lay down for a little bit. But I still ended up, like it's that once again, it's that discipline to say, okay, now I need to do some type of movement, do
Right,
something to, feed the body, right? Instead of just
right,
focusing on work. So at 10 o'clock at night, I just went to my gym and just did it, cranked it out. But it took, I mean, that's the piece. Like, I love that I think as entrepreneurs we're like our worst enemy sometimes. Like
Right.
we can get so sucked in. A lot of people, like from corporate, they're like, oh, you get to make your own schedule, you get to have this really awesome work life balance. And I'm like, just be in my shoe. If entrepreneurship was so easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
But it's really
Right.
difficult. Like it's you have to have that really good mindset to be disciplined, to say, okay, I got to crank out the work, but I cannot forget about my family. I cannot forget about wellness.
Right.
Uh, and when I was working prior to entrepreneurship, I had this really awesome meditation routine. And I think
Mm.
I lost that. I lost
Right.
my routine of that. And I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate it, but
Right.
it's so difficult. Like, do I do it like I used to do it in first thing in the morning? But mornings are crazy. Do I
Right.
do it at night? I fall asleep. It's like, when do
Right.
you incorporate, when do you take that 15 minutes for yourself and say, okay, I'm going to give my brain some rest?
Right. Yeah, I really, it started for me because I had, the goal to do meditation, and then it was like, you know what? I'm not going to have a goal. I'm just going to have a commitment. And so I have a commitment of I'm going to take some moments for myself. If it's just taking a breath, you know, and really kind of centering myself for a moment, it's like that counts, right? Because too often, like you said, that we're just go 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 as entrepreneurs. We're just kind of just we feel like we have to go, we all that kind of stuff. I don't know how many times I've said, "Oh crap, I forgot to eat lunch today," right? Or it's like I forgot. It's like all these basic things. And I think what's coming up for me within this conversation is discipline is a big part of wellness, right? It's just really, it's like the intentionality and discipline creates a space for us to take care of ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's just, I mean, that's it. And it's like it's really, for me, it's not really carving a time out. It is just saying, I'm committed to this. I have discipline around this, and this is my intentions to kind of make it happen, and just kind of, be okay how it shows up. If that, I don't know how many sleep meditations I've done, because just put on, and it's just like, it's like, oh, okay, I hopefully that got in, somewhere, because I just fell asleep, right, and it's like I needed those, I needed 15 more minutes, right, and just kind of to go from there, but that's okay.
Yeah, it can be so refreshing to just stop
Right.
for. And that's the piece. Like, I told myself this week, you gave me that word, and I was like, that's interesting. Like, one of the things that's been like an ongoing, I'm not gonna call it a goal, I need to make it a commitment, is to just take 50. I've got an amazing app called Insight Timer. I don't know
Right.
what
I use that
I
too. Right.
love
That's what I
that
use.
app.
Right.
It's so cool, and it gives you so many options. And I just use the free version. And just, it's like, come on, Bobbie, can you give yourself like 10-15 minutes to just
Right.
shut up and
Right.
just
Yeah.
let
Just shut. Right. And just kind of be there. It is something. There's a lot of guided meditations within there, and every once in a while I'll just put on the chimes and or the wind or something or the water, and just kind of like, okay, this is where this is where I need to be in this moment. And I think there, I've said in some other conversations that there is something about our society that we have a problem with self care and really recognizing what that is. The only time that it is acceptable, that I have seen for the most part, that it's acceptable to think of ourselves first is like in an emergency on an airplane, right? It's like if this comes down, take care of yourself first so you can help somebody else. But
That's a good
other
point. Yeah.
other than that, it's like you're so selfish. Why don't you care about other people? And it's just like, geez, the more that we're able to take care of ourselves first and kind of put ourselves first, we can we can become well. So then we're available to other people. But there's always, it feels like there's always this fight that it's like, I feel like I'm always on this balance of, self-care and being lazy. It's like there's a fine line, right? There's a fine line. Am I taking care of myself, or am I just being lazy right now? And it's just like really
Yeah.
figuring that out.
And I would say for me, like on weekends, it's pure laziness. And honestly, you know what? That's a part of wellness too. You should
Right,
actually just do nothing. But
right,
I think if you could be a little bit more fruitful, like for me, this is coaching myself. It's like if you're a little bit more fruitful and
yeah,
do something, like at the end of the week, I just want to do nothing. Like,
right,
and I feel like, even with this pandemic, we really can't do much, right? Outside of going to grocery store.
right.
Like we've been doing a little bit more outdoor activities, but it's still been a little bit
Hmm.
strange, right?
Right,
There's so much noise, and you don't even know what decision to make, because if you make one decision, I interact with my mom, who has a lot of the some of the cofactors. So I don't care about me, like I care about her. Like if I don't want to
right,
spread it to her. So she's always comes top of mind
right.
with any activity I do. But I agree. I think sometimes, like I think as a mother, I feel very guilty, even
Hmm.
that 15 minutes, like, should I, like, skip that and go pick up Savannah early
Right,
so I can spend
right,
more time with her? It's that guilt factor that sometimes eats at us. And it's like, sometimes it's like, you know what, you can't feel that way. You got to
right,
get out of the guilt, because
right,
if you don't take care of this,
right,
then you can't show up well for
right,
your members that you take care of.
right. I think that is the biggest part of the self discovery that I do within my work is that, this self work that we do, or that I encourage people to do, is so that they can just be available for themselves and for others. The more that I know what I need, what recharges me, what excites me, what really brings me joy, the more that I am able to be there for other people. And maybe a part of your wellness is being with your daughter, longer for those, and that's okay. That creates something in there, and I think the more that we're disciplined and intentional about our wellness, and have that we create it, and it's not just what an app says or what other people are saying. It's what the more that we're listening to ourselves and our bodies and what's going on within us, then we can really be well. Because at the end of the day, I think we can make ourselves well, if that makes sense. If
Yep.
that nobody else can tell us this is what wellness looks for you. You know, we can only really do that for ourselves, and it takes us giving ourselves permission to allow that to happen.
No, that's a good point. Oftentimes, I think in our society, we're always looking for that magic pill,
Right.
or a magic program that will instantaneously give us X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I think it's stop chasing that, right? Stop
Right.
chasing the magic pill, stop chasing that magic program, and really, try it,
Right.
and also forgive yourself if it doesn't work, right? If you fail, don't harp on it.
Right.
Just like let it
Absolutely.
go and try something else. That's the discovery part that gets me excited. If I like something, I'll keep it. If I don't like something, I'm gonna throw it away.
Right. A part of my coaching, methodology is the TLC, It is really looking at the tools that we have, right? The tools that are available for us to, make a change in our life or find something. Then look at our language, what we're saying about it, right? Too often we kind of set ourselves up because we're using language like it's too hard or I hate this and everything like that. And anytime we want to do anything, like exercise or something, if we're saying those things, it is putting us in the framework to not do it. And then the C is our commitments, really seeing what we're committed to. And I've noticed within myself how, how I said it before with my meditation practice is I thought my commitment was meditation, and there was a point that my commitment was seeing my stats go up. It was like I wanted to make sure that it's like I get a star for you know 50 days of meditation, and it was like that's what I was committed to more than the benefits of meditating. And once I was kind of like aware of that, and it's like, wow, that's really kind of sucks, right? So it was like, but it really caused me to really kind of refocus on what my commitments were. But but with all of that, it is the TLC to kind of just like, what? Just be kind to yourself. Just kind of recognize that you've tried it, you have all the tools, your language may be off, but just be kind to yourself, and within that you'll be taking care of yourself, and you'll find the wellness that you need. You find what you need to kind of make the change and be in that. And so yeah, it is just really being able to try and really being able to do certain things. But like I said, at the end of the day, it really comes back to we can only decide for ourselves what wellness really does look like for us. So I'm sure we could talk about this for hours, but is there anything that's come up within this conversation for you?
Think I love the TLC concept. I think for as entrepreneurs, I think I have a like my Twitter handler is at B Shrivastav, and I often tweet and I hold myself accountable because I don't go to the gym now. I have my own gym, but I would post things on Twitter to say, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And I always have a hashtag saying mental health is important. And if you
Right,
really think about that, it starts with having starting to incorporate good wellness, whether that's
right,
fitness routine. I really got to get back into meditation, but good
right,
meditation routine. But it starts with it's that self-awareness and self-care
right,
and be in TLC, right?
right.
Be
TLC,
kind, be committed.
right. Yeah, no, that is great, and so people can reach you on Twitter and it's your website there. I think, look, you have a lot of offerings and jobs and things like that, and so and I think really recognizing how digital having helping people go digital within their business, and especially in I think it was healthcare or in that
Life
insurance type
insurance,
of life insurance type
yeah.
of thing. That is key because most of the times I don't know about you, but it stresses me out all the paper that I have in my life, right? So the more that I can reduce the paper in my life and kind of remember where I digitally filed it, I'm good. That takes away a lot of stress. So I really appreciate what you're doing on that front, and the people that are watching this, hopefully if they find a need for that or have people that have that, they'll reach out to you for that. But thank you very much. I mean, we'll say our goodbyes in the green room, but I will end the show. But if you're able to stay, that would be great. But thank you again for being a part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that is wellness. There's a lot of things that come up, and for me, it's it starts with meditation. But I recognize that fitness and mindset and spirituality and a lot of things to kind of really connect to ourselves. I really hope that this conversation brought value to you. And I invite you to connect with me on IamWilliamBrown.com and have a conversation not just on your wellness, but how you can show up as yourself. So, the world wants you, the world needs you, and the world is waiting for you. So, go be you. Have a great day.